All right, so here we are going to be on the play against the Cloudpost. Played against them a few times. Having two back to basics main deck is awesome against them. I didn't know it was going to be against Cloudpost, so just to, for whatever this hand is. Not the best, not the worst. I have mana. I can play out plenty of stuff. I love how I'm on the play, and I can play Spell Pierce against anything that's going to suck, so this is a very easy keep. Let's play Delta and pass. I'm pretty sure immediately I found out that it was against Cloudpost. Sure. Okay, see one, play one. Once again, we're going to pass here. Sure. So here, I actually did want to Spell Pierce this. It's really weird when you play against Cloudpost, because they can have some are like the ramp versions where they'll have like Grim Monoliths and tons of other stuff. Some will have big Eldrazi creatures. There's a lot of different variations, but I wanted to use my mana here because when I Spell Pierce this, next turn I can Snapcaster Spell Pierce and start getting a clock going. So I cracked the Delta here. And Spell Pierce. And they actually exiled a Spirit Guide to pay for it, which is, I guess, fine. That's still like, 1 for 1. Even though they get their card, Spell Pierce, I guess, traded for the Spirit Guide. That's fine by me. Okay, and we're starting to get an interesting hand. 2 Arid Mesas, 2 Snapcaster Mages, and 2 Jace the Mind Sculptors. So here I'm looking for them to play something that I can pierce, and this isn't going to be it because this gets 2, so doing that isn't going to do much. Sure. Cloudpost it is, and we are really looking for back to basics here. Okay, that's a really good draw. So first I want to play Brainstorm because we are looking for back to basics. We didn't get it, and there's a ton of things I can talk about here. I don't remember exactly what it was. I believe I put 1 Jace back. I might have kept the swords. I think it was like 1 Jace and 1 Snap maybe. Let's see. Snap, Jace. Okay, just because I had redundant. So, sure. Now I can still do Snapcaster and, what's the word? Spell Pierce. I do have Force of Will. Sure. I don't think this hits a ton. I know like Scroll Rack. Like I said, I wasn't sure the type. There's so many different versions of this. So Spell Snare is probably going to be a very easy way to, pitch something to force. So I'm shuffling there. Okay, I'm cracking one of these. Then I'm bringing in an island. Then I'm playing Jace because then I'll have a fetch land. We are looking for back to basics. And we did not find it. However, these are some good cards. Council's Judgment is really good in this. Swords, I want to keep around because a lot of times they do bring in creatures that you can swords. So here, I'm not sure. I probably threw back a Plains because I will have Plains, a Plains, and maybe a Spell Snare or a Ponder, seeing I do have Jace to... Yeah, I got rid of the Ponder. That's fine. Sure. Scroll Rack away. Oh, that's just no fun. Come on. It's the, get 2 lands, put them in the play, dude. Is it Primeval Titan? Come on. Wait for it. Wait for it. Yes, it is. Okay. So we can't counter that, but I did keep swords in my hand. Okay, they're going to get their mana. Oh, putting it into play tapped, are we? Oh, boy. Let's get Plains here. Let's get rid of this guy. And once again, we are still looking for back to basics. That is our first priority. And we found it. Oh my goodness. Did we find it all right. All right, so what do I not want here? I do have, let's see, 3. Having an extra land here isn't going to be bad. At this point, Spell Snare sucks. And a Jace. I believe I would have put those back. Jace. I put something else back. I'm not sure what it was. Spell Snare isn't great, but here I want to play back to basics. They thought about that for a long time. They're like, God damn. Not fun. Sure. Did play Snap here. I already knew the top 2 cards, but I did want to get some type of clock. So that was the reasoning for that. And yeah, whatever. Just don't need that. Brainstorm again. Okay, so here, I don't want this, and then I don't want Jace. Playing the planes. Now, there's the option of perhaps Council's Judgmenting their Scroll Rack, which means they're going to have to use it. I could Council's Judgment that, which means they'd have to tap a land. I don't think there's a whole lot of value in that, to be honest, so let's attack here. And nothing else, okay. I do have Snapcaster Spell Pierce, which may or may not come into play. Let's draw 3 again. Looking for a fetch land at this point, which we're not getting, but we did get this, which isn't bad because now I can actually, shuffle stuff away. Jace, I don't need, and probably Volk, I'd guess. So, Ponder. Perfect. I think that's perfect. So, I think what I did is, if I kept this, I put Strand in my hand so I can shuffle, and if I didn't, it wouldn't be a big deal. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And once again, Jace comes back. The old shuffle bug, as people like to call it. Now we can play a True-Name. So it's certainly not over yet. I'm thinking of the ways they can win. Like I said, I don't know this deck too well. They ramp up mana. They play like an Emrakul, which could suck. They can return it, once. So I want to play out a lot of permanents. It's just when you're not really sure what the person's playing and the game is going on, and you got all this card advantage. It's pretty challenging to make plays because you don't really know what's going on. Sure, probably Batterskull and Jace. Let's attack. Now we're getting in Stoneforge. And actually I have so many cards here that I just discarded. A Brainstorm, since I can get that out of Jace. Okay, now they have a Mesa Vith. That's fine. Here, I believe I started Fate Sealing after I attacked. Because I just have too many cards at this point. Yeah, Show and Tell. I don't remember what I can actually look. I might have, let's see, put a card on top. Yeah, I guess I didn't care about that at the time. I have a lot of counter magic to deal with that. Clean up once again. Spell Snare. Bring this in. Good draw. Let's see what they got. That, definitely put on the bottom. Attack with everyone. They do have a Mesa Vith. They did not decide to use it yet, which means that's going to come into play. Could come into play next turn. You keep in mind, like they could, unless I equipped it to this, that would be 7. Then I have 8, 9, 10, and they would. That then would be an extra turn. So that's something to keep in mind. Sure. Okay. So since they're not doing anything here, I decided to bring in both Snapcasters because what I could do is if I equip this to True-Name, that's going to be 7, 8, 9, 10, but they can just Mesa Vith one of these. So I wanted to bring in more bodies just to be able to attack with everyone. So Snapcaster, just targeting Brainstorm, sure. Snapcaster, targeting whatever. I believe I just used the Brainstorm because I could. And I'm pretty sure it stopped there. Anyway, the opponent conceded, right? Yeah, opponent has conceded from the game. So I did that because I could have enough damage to kill them. That was the reasoning for that, because they have their Mesa Vith, and they'd probably use that once, and that would give them one more turn. And seeing they use this, they could have something scary in their hand. Like I said, I don't know their deck too well. It's like it's Cloudpost with Show and Tell, some big Eldrazi creatures. You got the Primeval Titan. Either way, that was game one. This was our main concern, digging for back to basics. Even though we had to get Jace, we had to find a Brainstorm, whatever it was. Once we do that, we can lay it down at a nice spot and pretty control the game from there. So let's move into the sideboarding. That'll be an interesting video, but let's do it anyway. All right, so It's very weird. I have played against this deck before a long time ago, and I remember it was the deciding factor. Since they're playing Show and Tell, do I use Red Blast and my Volcanic Island, or go to Back to Basics, or I could do both, depending on when the cards are played. I remember saying that Back to Basics is overall so much better than having a few Red Blasts for like Show and Tell or whatever. But either way, Force of Negation is good. Vendilion Clique is great. Chant is great. Disenchant is great. They have a lot of artifacts. Path to Exile can at least sub, maybe, for swords if you want. Flusterstorm is going to be very iffy. Like I said, they do have Show and Tell, but later game they're usually going to have a lot of mana. I wouldn't hold it against you if you wanted to use that, but I didn't feel like using it. Spell Snare, from what I saw, only hit the, Scroll Rack? I didn't see any other, Grim Monolith type things. So those are the cards I'm bringing in. 5. Cards I'm taking out, don't need a Volk. Okay, so here I actually took out Jitte. We're not going to be killing any of their creatures or anything. Spell Snare didn't seem too great. I believe I shaved a Plow. Back to Basics is awesome. Council's Judgment is awesome. And here I took out Narset. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be it. Anything else in here? So no Red Blast. I don't want Surgical. Snare, Hydroblast. I didn't see any red, I don't believe. And Flusterstorm's iffy with all their mana they have. Spell Pierce. This is good. This is good. This is good. Stoneforge, Counterspell. Back to Basics. And this looks pretty good. So this is what I kept in against them. So let's move Let's move on to game number 2. All right, and this is exactly what we want to see. This is an awesome hand. First of all, we have a just basic land, and we have fetch lands along with a Brainstorm, which is an amazing combo. We have Disenchant to get rid of any annoying artifacts that we need to. Narset's just kind of whatever, but we do have a Brainstorm to shuffle away, and this is obviously back-breaking, back to basics. This is a really good hand, and we are definitely keeping it. They're doing something turn 1? Sure, they can have that. Here I'm playing an island. That's a good draw. More, protection against whatever crap they might want to play. Sure, this is a really good sign. That means they don't have any other mana at this point. I'm not brainstorming here because I pretty much don't need to. So something to keep in mind is that on this, for the land that you play, since I'm planning on brainstorming at the end of the turn, it's going to be using 1 blue. And then you want to ask yourself, what mana do I want to have opened? It's probably not going to be a Swords to Plowshares for white, and I won't be able to cast Disenchant. So here I would be looking to play blue, if anything, off of the Brainstorm. So I want to play a Polluted Delta here, because that's the weaker fetch land. This can get blue and white, this can get just white. So in that scenario, you're going to want to play Polluted Delta. Sure, they drew a land. Brainstorm? It's Brainstorm time. Alrighty then. So, cards I don't like. Definitely Narset here. And then, between the rest of them, it's probably going to be either True-Name or Ponder, because I actually want to Brainstorm again. So, True-Name and probably... Wait, hold on. True-Name... And yes, Narset. So here, since I have more fetches, I actually wanted to Brainstorm again. I'm looking for more counter backup, maybe another back to basics. I just wanted to make the most use of my mana here. Okay, this is actually really good. This is a really solid card in this matchup. Hits everything. Now we have some more difficult decisions, which is fine. So it's going to be one card we don't want because we're going to be drawing one. I think it's going to be like Ponder that I don't care too much about. I do have a Snapcaster Brainstorm, so I think it's Ponder and then land, or just, 2 lands. It was. Okay, perfect. Arid Mesa, because that fetches strictly plains, and we don't want to get a non-basic. And despite the fact they are not tapped, we are playing it. So now if they want to crack this, they're going to need to kamikaze one of their lands. That's an awesome draw. Okay, so let's play this. I'm going to get a plains because we do have a Council's Judgment. Brainstorm. Looking for more backup. Anything. This is going to be a great card. I can check out their hand. And so pretty much right here, 2 cards I'm going to be drawing again. So at this point, it's like, what card do I want to hide? But they don't play discard, I don't believe. So, or if they happen to stop Jace, what card would I want the most? So for example, I probably don't want Path here and then Flooded Strand on top, or anything else. I guess it doesn't matter too much. Okay, that's a good one. You got it. Don't worry, there's more fun where that came from. Yeah, land card. They got a force. Ah, very smart of them. So we are drawing 3 first. Now we got a lot of stuff. Don't want this. Now that I got a Jace online, I probably don't want to Ponder or one of these two, like I said. So Path, and I'm guessing Path. Yep, now we can play this. All right, so what I decided to do here is get rid of this because I knew I had a back to basics in my hand and I wanted to make them react first. So if I got rid of this, that means they're not going to be able to find any other lands. And if they don't have any lands in their hand, that means they're going to be on 2 and they won't be able to play another Crozen Grip. So I thought that was a good trade. So they did that and they exiled the Elvish Spirit Guide, which is a good trade in my opinion. That's fine. So they got a Cloudpost. Okay, do this. And that's perfect. Now I can crack this. See, if I played back to basics first, they probably wouldn't have done that. So that's very important. Okay, so now they have something that comes into play tapped. So if they want to play that, that's fine. Be my guest. Be my guest. And so they did. But now they only have 2 mana, which is good. And I don't care too much about this. You know, if they want to... You know, I can start beating them down, plus I can always kill it with either Councils or Snapcaster Disenchant, so I'm not fighting over this. They can certainly have that. Okay then, so at this point, let's see, I can Brainstorm. I think I like clicking on their draw step, because if I do that, I can see their hand, and they're not going to be able to Crozen Grip my back to basics unless they have an Elvish Spirit Guide with it. Obviously, you can't use Jace. So here I'm putting a stop on my opponent's draw. Veil of Summer, okay? And since this is blue, you know, they'd get hexproof from blue and black. I did decide to counter this. This is also a very good reason why you want to click on their turn. You know, I don't think anyone's ever clicked on their own turn unless they had to, but obviously that allows you to play Force of Negation. So I am going to be forcing that, pitching True-Name. Okay, so this is what they had. And seeing it's a draw step and they already drew, I'm going to have perfect information. And I don't care too much about this. So, you know, I might not be able to counter something. And it's this they're not going to be able to do much with. That can maybe trade with a click because they can always sacrifice and kill it. Show and tell, they got really nothing going on. So I let them have all those cards. So that was that. And let's see if they decide to play anything. They did not. Okay. Let's attack first. I went with going killing that because since I have perfect information, now I can actually start fate sealing them. That's what I decided to do. Veil or Expedition Map. That card's not going to kill me if they get a land. You know, if something wants to come into play tapped, if they get a, was it Cavern of Souls? It's like, yeah, whatever, they can get one creature. I wasn't too worried about that, so I kept that on the top as it shows. I might have pondered here. No, I did not ponder. Okay. Yep. Let's attack again. I was almost considering doing some type of lock with like bouncing click and then clicking them, but they had Veil of Summer, so that wouldn't have worked out too well. Let's look at what they have. Show and tell, once again, they can have that. Let's play Ponder first in case I find a fetch land and want to dig for something else. There's a good card. Force of Will is awesome. So Swords, Flooded, Force. No. Play our planes. And we still have Snapcaster, and we can Snapcaster Brainstorm. We can Snapcaster Disenchant. So Snapcaster Disenchant is an option, but they're not going to be getting too much with this that I know of. Ballista, sure. So now we know that they have this. They have 2 show and tells. That's why I like writing it down, because you can't like add another second show and tell there. And I had a feeling they were going to kill this, so I just pretty much attacked first and made them do that right away. Sure. Once again, let's see what they have. That is a tropical island, so that can stay there. True-Name. Get a clock going. Remember, we are going to want to fetch, too. We have crap. So they're doing this in their upkeep, so they're not going to be drawing that, what's it called? What's the word? Glimmer Post, okay. So now they have 1 unknown. That's their hand. Oh, and they did play Iugen. Okay, so then they have 2 unknown, apparently. 1 unknown, sorry. There's 2 show and tells, 1 veil, and something random. Fetch. Probably a blue here, yeah. There's no more planes anyway. Gonna attack. So considering their hand, I'm still going for the Fate Seal. Brainstorm I put on the bottom. And here I have Force of Will. And then I also have Snapcaster Force of Negation. So that costs 5 mana. Yeah, I have plenty to do that. So that's why I was content with Fate Sealing here. Once again, look at the top. Pithing Needle. Yes, they can use that on this, but I have ways to deal with that. Once again, I do have Snapcaster Disenchant. I do have Snapcaster Council's Judgment. This isn't going to kill me. I know it can stop this, but that is the reason why I gave that to them. Let's attack. Here I was more concerned with like protecting my hand. I know they have a Veil of Summer, so whenever I counter something, they're going to use that. I'm going to have to save cards to be able to counter that as well. So Force pitches the True-Name. You know, if I had pondered, that would have been 1 less mana. I think I still had enough mana. I probably counted it out earlier. What do they got going on here? Oh, okay. Well, that was a good unknown, right? So now they have still 1 unknown. They have Veil of Summer, 2 show and tell, and something else, and a lot of mana. Oh yeah, they have the Pithing Needle. Scroll Rack 2, sure. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. So now it's 2 show and tell, 1 Veil of Summer. Don't care about any of those. So now what we can do is Snapcaster. Well, not yet. Excuse me. Okay. So it depends on how many cards they exile. Puts a card on top of the library. So 2. So they probably have Veil of Summer and 2 unknowns. Unless they kept the show and tell. It's going to be up to them. Here what I want to do is Snapcaster, Disenchant. That'll unlock this so I can, do what I need to do. And right now they only have 1 forest open, so I'm not going to need 2 counterspells, just 1. Okay, so pretty much I think I just went for the Fate Seal, did that. And in response, so seeing this as blue, I've never seen the interaction before. You and permanents you control gain hexproof from blue and black. Since this is blue, that would be, wow, talk about a way to stop that, but I did have Force of Will. I'm going to be pitching probably True-Name or Ponder here. Yeah. That's that. There goes your deck. Let's see what you got. And they conceded, obviously. So that was that game against Cloudpost. And I'm sure you can tell what the MVP was, both games, right? Actually, this and, ironically enough, Jace combined were probably both the MVPs. But quite the interesting list. There's 2 show and tells here, aside from what they have in the Exile, Primeval Titan, Scrying, Library, Spirit Guide. So it was kind of correct. The Spell Snare is pretty bad in this. Goodness. There's just Scroll Rack, and then you have one of these. I don't think that's worth it. But aside from that, they're pretty much looking to just get a ton of mana, then bring out this dude or this dude. And if they don't do it, or this dude. And if they don't do that, then they're just going to show and tell it in. Pretty cool deck. But like I said, the power of Back to Basics was just too much, combined with the power of Jace card advantage and knowing the top of their library. Either way, I've done pretty well against Cloudpost, mostly because of Back to Basics. And I'm sure you can see why. It's just, it does very well when it shuts down pretty much almost all of their lands. Would they have 2 basics here? Do they have any other basics? Looking quick. I don't think so, and that's going to be pretty tough to win unless they Crows and Grip it both times with plenty of time left in the game before it's too late. Either way, that's it. That's a game against the Cloudpost, won 2-0. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.